Good morning, co-presenter.
Not anymore. I'm working on changing that.
Okay, you know how to do that. Oh, you just did it. I should change mine too. Let's see, where am I?
3 dots at the top of your picture.
Okay.
Oh boy, we got a whole bunch of people in the waiting room.
Oh God, I know it. I hate these waiting rooms because I always space out and then forget to let them in.
Well, when you set up the link, go in and change it.
Well,
right there.
you can, but you either have to have a waiting room or a passcode. And I didn't want either one of them really. Let's see here, internet admit. Here comes a bunch of peoples. The Olsons are showing up. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi, Corey.
Hi there.
Great. I invited some club treasurers today too, so we'll see who joins us. Oops, admit. Mark Miranda's coming from Newport. Got a couple PDGs here. We got Bill Greil, we got Rick Olson. Let's see. Ooh. Retired police chief in Newport, Mark Miranda just joined us. Dan Smith, the video podcaster extraordinaire, is here from the E-Club. Curtis is here from the Delta Club. Let's see, Dawn's here. Haven't talked to you since what? Well, I saw your video a couple days ago. Jim Polk just blitzed out on me. Mimi's here again. Nice to see you. Waiting room. Okay. Larry Hildren. You guys can chat among yourselves if you want, you know. Everybody's way too shy. You just want to talk about money.
Can we invite people to become like college students, 18 years old?
Anyone that's interested in membership from any club, and if you want to invite a college student that's 18 years old, I'm certainly not going to complain about that.
So there's no...
Anyone that's interested in building membership in Rotary is welcome as far as I'm concerned.
Or a 16-year-old high schooler.
There you go.
Hey, my cats are here, so what's that tell you?
No, I mean, as far as becoming members.
Sure.
Invite college kids to become members?
I don't see why not. Is there a rule, Rick? Is there a rule?
If they came with Rotary, they can also be a Rotarian.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
I think it's more just how you make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You bring in, as we find at our club, you know, we have a big club, but even when our Rotary actors would show up, it's a matter of being able to get them to engage and not the lone outsider. But that's true of a lot of people we invite to Rotary that are guests.
Yeah.
Good point. And I
Next.
thought I might start with some of our members, college kids, that might, because they're so familiar with it already.
And next week, we're going to, or next month, sorry, we're going to be talking about virtual recruiting. So
Well-
I want you to start to think about that, because recruiting doesn't have to be a person that walks into your club anymore. In this day and age, you could recruit someone from Timbuktu. So,
That's what I'm working on.
And Steve Lingenbrink is going to be talking about that with us. And his co-facilitator is Julie Aubrey. If you remembered her, she talked about engaging socials. And she's from Rotary International back in Illinois. So that'll be fun. Let's see, I got to make sure I'm not holding anybody up in the waiting room. But
Corey,
I've
we
got a-
look forward to hearing you again.
Well, thank you.
I've got your waiting room watch on.
you've got what?
I'll watch the waiting room. You can run your meeting.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I knew I invited treasurers here for a reason. Jim is our district treasurer, so any treasury problems, questions, if you want to talk about the darn dues or anything, he's the guy to go talk to.
Chat me up.
And he said he would answer any questions. Oops, I see there's a waiting room. And he's going to be district governor here. When, Jim?
23, 24.
Yeah, that's going to be here before you know it. Okay, well then I am going to start the meeting, because I know you didn't come and listen to me chatter, even though it's probably just entertaining as all get out. But we have with us again, Corey Lopardi from up north, the district up north. He's also the zone membership coordinator, assistant, something. Watch me,
Assistant
please.
Rotary Coordinator.
There you go. He's been with us before. A couple of months ago, he talked about holding hybrid meetings. He volunteered to grapple with the whole issue about dues. So today we're going to be talking about money. If you look at my background, that's what it's about. We're going to be talking about how you structure your dues, how you collect them. Do you do it monthly, quarterly? Does it include lunch? Well, probably not now, but how is it structured? What about age groups? All that. So, and then finally, how do we give people maybe a break that are having financial difficulty? And this is especially important right now. But you know what? It's important all the time. This is something that my club has talked about doing and really never got it off the ground until COVID came along. So COVID's been a real blessing in disguise. It's forced us to drag ourselves up into the present and make some adjustments that's going to make Rotary better in the long run. So, whoops, 2 more people in the waiting room. Let me let them in, and I'm going to turn it over to Corey. He's got a short presentation, and then we're going to open it up for you.
All right. If you go ahead and make me co-host, I'll be happy to share my screen.
Oh, yeah. Co-host. Yes. Okay, you should be one.
Oh, no, don't want that. All right.
Okay.
Hey, everybody here. Oh, welcome. I'm gonna stop that share for 1 second. So I want to be able to see everybody and share my screen at the same time. So let's make one change. Okay.
Better mute myself.
We are going to talk about Rotary Club dues today. That is the topic that everybody wanted to hear from last month, and I'm happy to come speak today. Again, my name is Corey Lopardi. I'm the Assistant Rotary Coordinator for Zone 27. and I'm in Olympia, Washington. I'm a past district membership chair, and now I work with membership at the zone level. What we're going to cover today, at least in my presentation portion, is how are dues often structured, tiered, and the frequency of payments that some clubs deal with in regards to membership. How are clubs collecting those payments, and how are clubs assisting their members with financial aid or financial need, and we'll do a little Q&A. So due structures and payment frequency. You know, in 2016, the Rotary Council on Legislation gave clubs the freedom to create their membership types and dues structures that they wanted to do. And a lot of clubs had been doing some testing on that 4 or 5 years back. But Rotary only really recognizes two types of members. They recognize dues-paying active members, and they recognize honorary members. So clubs can create memberships and dues structures, but they must fall into one of those two membership categories. And those honorary members, just to point out now, cannot serve on board positions and do not have a vote at the club. So that is one of the stipulations of an honorary member when you're looking at dues structures and how to structure your dues. So let's look at some examples of membership types and the dues structures involving around them. We have introductory membership, corporate membership, family membership, young professionals, and then there's some other unique types. Really, a lot of clubs call them a lot of different things, but most of them fall into one of these 5 categories. So introductory membership, some clubs use these basically to create a trial period for members to try out Rotary and see whether it works for them or not. Members typically pay a reduced annual fee, anywhere from 2/3 to a half of whatever the club's normal dues cost is. Usually that runs out in a year. Some do 6 months, some do a year, but there's a definite amount of trial time that's set up, and it's usually less than a full Rotary year, or not more than a full Rotary year, is guess what I'm saying. And then after that, the fee structure graduates to the full structure, whatever that club has in place. So an example, and one of the ones that Rotary plugged a number of years back, is the Central Ocean Rotary Club in Toms River, New Jersey. At their club, new members can join at the rate of $99 for the first 6 months, and then $199 for the second. And then after that first year, the membership goes to the standard rate. So you can see how they're making membership in Rotary for brand new people very affordable. They're offering it at a $99 sale price, if you will, graduated to $199 for the second half of the Rotary year. This is one of the types of ways that these introductory club memberships are structured. Corporate membership. You probably all heard about corporate memberships. Corporate membership has been, like I said, around for a long, long time. I know our club was one of the test beds for corporate memberships back in, I want to say all the way back to maybe 2011. I think there's a, yes, as far as the question, the slides will be sent out. I'll send those to Christine and she'll be able to get them out to everybody. So the corporate membership gives the benefit to the corporation to allow more than one member to attend. And originally it was around attendance, but because in 2016 the Council on Legislation kind of did away with attendance, it really now becomes a way for clubs to bring in more corporate members, create strategic partnerships with corporations, and to find ways to give a corporation that's willing to send maybe 3 to 5 members of its corporation to your club a way to save a little money at the same time. So I've got 2 examples up there. One is where basically you have one dues paying member And then you have often 1 to 3 non-dues paying members. So these members technically are honorary members. They would fall into that category. But it does allow the company to send their members and to not feel like the same person has to be away all the time. A lot of times banks will do this if they've got one bank branch manager, but maybe a few assistants at that bank, and therefore the bank can be at every meeting, but they only pay the one fee. That being said, that means that the other assistant managers, the other members, if you will, don't have voting rights and can't serve on board. So the other model allows for everybody, and again, usually it's in the 3 to 5 members, where the first member pays the full dues and then everybody pays a reduced rate after that. So the question I see pop up is, does district and RI dues be included in the reduced introductory period? So the club still has to pay the district and RI dues, whatever they are, and every district is different. That includes Rotary International dues, paying for the district magazine, and paying those district dues. Some clubs build that into whatever their base rate is. I know $99 would not cover the district and RI dues. But if you look at what they're looking at, technically it's $300 because it's $99 for the first 6 months and then $199 for the second 6 months. That $300 more than covers RI and district dues for just about any club, and it's actually more in dues than our club pays total without any reduction. So when you're looking at that, it's really up to the club, and I can talk more about that later. But what I do have is an example here of a corporate membership. This is from the Rotary Club of Glendora, and you can see that their regular annual dues are $250, plus they actually charge fines ahead of time, and they do a club admin that pays for lunch and room fees and things like that. Whereas the corporate membership, if you see all day way down at the very bottom, each alternate member only pays $175. So the club dues are reduced for all of those alternate members. They basically allow up to 3 alternates, so they're making the corporate membership not more than 4 members of the same corporation. They all must be 18 years or older, and they basically say that they get the right to review whether or not somebody is eligible for membership. Most clubs that do a corporate membership, if they feel that a member of that corporation is deserving of being a member, they don't screen every single person. They allow the corporation to choose who it sends as its representatives. But this, as you can see, is an example. And again, I will send these slides out if you just kind of want to look through that model. Family membership, and we're seeing a lot more of this. Some clubs use family membership as a way to alleviate the costs of Rotary on a household, and family can be anything from a spouse to adult-aged children to you know, a living situation where you've got multiple people living in the same home. Typically, it's residence-based and not necessarily marriage-based. Primary member tends to pay the full dues, and then there's either a discount either by a reducing fee, or sometimes it's alternating the meal costs. So if both members or all 3 members of the family show up to a meeting, then they pay the additional 1 or 2 meals, but otherwise those meals bounce back and forth. So anybody can attend. Spouses don't have to worry about losing out on those lunch dollars if meal costs are covered in club's dues. Here again, go back. Here again is the same Rotary Club of Glendora, and their family membership, as you can see, is pretty much the same as their corporate membership, except they limit it to 2 family members. So they decided that they didn't want to have the discount go to too many people. So you really have to look at that, because in some cases, maybe 2 family members is smart, and in others you might be looking at a fact that you've already got a Rotaractor who's wanting to be a Rotarian, and maybe she's talked her parents into joining the club as well. Well, why would both of those parents join the club if if they couldn't take advantage of the discount? So something to think about when you're looking to put together a family membership is, what does a family look like in your community, and how many people does that really relate to? Young professionals membership. Now, some clubs use the young professional membership as a way to alleviate the costs of a Rotary actor or maybe a young professional. They almost always pay about half the rate, and typically the cutoff is 35 or 40. And I'll let Mimi take her photo before I move on. So this is the Rotary Club of East Wichita. Their young professional membership option is available to every prospective applicant under the age of 40, so they go all the way up to 40. It's 1/2 of the regular dues, and they don't charge any orientation fees, but it only includes a couple of lunches. So they're for lunch a month, but they assume that their young professionals aren't showing up for every meeting anyway, and so in order to alleviate some of their own costs, they only allow for 2 lunches. If the young professional shows up more than twice, they have to pay out of pocket for that extra lunch. But this does allow somebody up to the age of 40 to save on the costs and not use cost as a reason for why they can't continue or to join Rotary. There is an update by Jim Polk on what the dues in Oregon and California will look like. It's why you have a district treasurer on a meeting like this, because he knows those numbers off the top of his head. So thank you, Jim, for putting those into the chat for everybody to see. So there's some other unique types of memberships, and like I said, a lot of the memberships out there might vary one way or another, but they usually fall into one of those 4 rough categories that I've talked about. But friendship or service memberships, these are typically memberships that either A, are honorary in nature, but they actually do require some hourly commitment per month by the member, or I've seen service memberships where if you're not attending meetings regularly, but you do put in a certain number of service hours, they'll actually give you a discount off your membership to offset that. So maybe you say that you've got to do 24 hours of service a year, and for that you get half off your membership, but we know that you're not going to be coming to club meetings, so we're not going to charge you the full amount. So that's kind of one form of service membership, and we do see that a lot more, especially with clubs that are following a bit of a hybrid model, that either have snowbirds or have people with very busy schedules, but they tend to make all the weekend projects, giving them a discount for their efforts because they are serving Rotary. Associate memberships are typically another type of introductory membership, but again, a lot of the time they don't involve actual dues. They're more of a different name for an honorary membership. Veterans memberships are specific discounted memberships that don't use age as a reason. They use the fact that someone has served in the military as a reason for offering a discount. Typically, it's not the full 50% discount, but maybe it's a 25% discount for life, as long as they stay in the same Rotary Club. And then scholarship memberships, and we'll talk a little bit about this at the end, but some clubs have gone to where they will do a scholarship for the first year of a membership. Specifically, if that club has been struggling to bring in new members for a period of time, maybe over a year or 2 years, they'll offer a free membership for the first 5 new members for that first year, or they'll offer a scholarship to any new members under the age of, say, 25, just to try to bring their age of membership down. And again, typically that scholarship only lasts for 1 year period. What if a friendship member is already a member in another club? Is there a charge? So typically someone who's already a member in another club and they want to be a member of your club as well, the only way they can do that is be designated as an honorary member. They cannot be a full dues paid or a voting member of any 2 clubs. So whichever club they pay the dues in, that's the club that they belong to, and every other club they want to be a part of is an honorary member. A lot of times past district governors, and we have one in our district, find ways to be honorary members in a lot of different clubs because either they've had a part in starting those clubs, or during their district governor year they shook a lot of hands and made a lot of friends, and so every club is their home club even though they only pay to be in one. So we always want to be clear with our dues, and that's one of the things I wanted to emphasize here early on. This is a club up in Canada. This is on their website. Be clear about what your dues cover, how much it costs, and why you're charging the reasons that you're charged. Whatever style of dues and memberships that you choose to offer as a club, being clear is one of the better ways to either to gain new Rotarians, but also to retain them. When people start questioning where their money is going to, they often start deciding that they don't want to spend it there anymore. So if you're clear up front about what that dues cover and why, it's a real low entry to barrier. And as you can see here, they make it easy to see. The cost of joining Rotary is less than a coffee a day. They have a regular membership at $40 a month, and then they have a couple of different age-based memberships, one for younger and one for older. And as you can see, the younger professionals still get a slight discount over the over 65. So, frequency of dues payments. Typically, we see all four styles of frequency. We see annual dues, we see semi-annual dues, we see quarterly dues, and as you saw in the last example, we see monthly dues. It really depends on how the club wants to handle it, and I have found that most clubs that are being flexible with their dues offer payment in all four of those forms because they do it in a way that is very clear what the member paid and how much they still owe in their dues amount. So let's move to the next section and talk about collecting dues payments. Your district did a series of surveys with your treasurers, and my understanding is about 25 of them responded, and in that it looks like over 70% of them said that they do accept online funds, which is great to see. And if so, how long have you been receiving the money? And it looks like the majority of them, 40%, said they'd been doing it since before 2018, which now is almost 3 years. And then another third started in 2019 and in 2020. And about 8 of them skipped because they probably didn't know whether they'd been online processing for very long or not. So online payments. Online payments are extremely important to young professionals and to a lot of us in our midlife as well. One reason is because it's easier to track for your club. I'd like to point that out because if you use any kind of online bill pay system, say like Square or something like that, you've got a monthly report of all the items that have been sold through that and who purchased them with their cards. So it's much easier to track than, say, having cash. Young professionals and those of us who have teen and adult children typically don't have cash on it. I don't know if you remember the show Married with Children, but you know, the dad's sitting on the couch and everybody comes to him with cash and he's got none left afterwards. That was me quite a lot when my daughter was a little bit younger, and so every time I went to a Rotary club that didn't have a card, I either had to go, oh, can I borrow some cash, or make an arrangement to be invoiced. So it really is important for the working people out there that don't carry cash with us that you take some sort of card. It also allows for better functioning for hybrid meetings. Obviously, everybody here today would not be able to make a payment in cash for this meeting, and if you were going to mail in a check, it'd be an awful lot of hassle to track down every single one of your checks to come in for attending today. Most people do have a phone or a computer available to make payments. As you can see in this Rotary Club example, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 phones that are out right now and a laptop. So any one of those people could be taking payments for that Rotary Club's meeting. That is an actual Rotary Club that meets in a coffee shop. They meet on Saturdays and allow children to attend. And the other thing is it makes club events easier to run, and it limits the problems with lost checks and missing cash. If you have a club event in the future, because we're all going to get back to having fundraisers, right? Having the ability for someone to have that extra phone and just pop some sort of reader in it for a card is great when one person's phone dies, or somebody forgot to bring the iPad that was supposed to be taking payments at the front, or you realize that there's many more people attending than you thought, and if you could just process that cash faster, you'd make everybody happy. I see that as an e-club, we have members all over the world. Some countries have money exchange difficulties. Yes, that can be an issue, and something you do want to look at when you're looking at your processing, whether or not you have members from other countries that have different denominations. We have that in our district because we're multi-district between US and Canada, but we just make them deal with US currency. That's how we deal with it. So one of the other parts of the survey was, so what types of funds do you collect? And it looks like the majority of the respondents, almost over 90%, collect dues. A lot of you also collect happy fines and bucks. A good portion also take donations. And then 30% said other, and I couldn't find any notes on the other, but I'm guessing that would be participation in events like event tickets, or maybe things like making your foundation donations, or even purchasing club attire or something like that could be done through the same pay system. So, processing concerns. What software to use? You know, that's definitely something to think about. Every software has a little bit different functionality, and it has a different cost and pricing structure. When we looked into it, I want to say it was 2012, 2013, we looked at credit card processing. Most clubs that had any sort of card reader had a bank member that was in their club that set it up for them. And they probably set it up for them in the 80s or the mid 90s, and they've been using that same processor. Well, guess what? When that bank person changes banks or they leave your club altogether, all of a sudden you got to figure out how you're going to do it yourself. And that's where our club was at. And we did a lot of research on the different banks in the area, all the charges, what it costs to rent a reader, and what all the online payment processes were. And for our club, we chose to go with Square. Financially, the committee found that that was the best bet. We afterwards realized just how much easier it made our events run Square, and that our events could have their own Square accounts, but we didn't have to change readers. All we had to do is change logins for passwords. So something to consider there. And all the money can get funneled into the same bank accounts. So whether you have one login or 14, you can have them all go to the same bank account. So it doesn't make it that much more difficult on your treasurer to do the regular books. Again, something to think about is, does it connect with your accounting software if you use software like QuickBooks? Can you take payments from your website? Some payment services don't allow you to embed payment systems in your website. Or can you take payments from an app like I've been talking about, using a phone to scan cards or take payments that way? What's the service fee? Definitely something to consider, because they all have different fees in different ways, and some fees work differently if you're processing lots of small payments, or some fees are very high if you're processing bigger payments like dues payments and things like that. And then clubs need to think about how they cover the fee costs. So one of the things to think about there is that we're all nonprofits, and even though we call ourselves clubs, Rotary clubs are nonprofits, and nonprofits all have a cost of doing business. And so one of the costs of doing business is processing your cards. And like I said before, that nice bank member in your Rotary club probably didn't bother to mention to you that your club had been getting charged on a regular basis for that machine or for that processing. So it seemed like it was all free, but it was probably part of your structure that your club had been running for years and nobody was paying attention to it. But now that you look at, you're going to get charged 29 cents in transaction, everybody goes, oh, hey, wait, we're losing money. Well, go back and do some research, and I bet you'll find that you've always been losing a little bit of money, which isn't losing. You've always had a cost of doing business. business. And the cost of being a nonprofit is figuring out how to collect those dues, how to take those donations. And it always seems to me to work out that it's worth the cause to make it easy on people to do that work. So, online payment types. You did some more survey and you found that Square was the #1 type of all your group, though a lot use PayPal. And I have found that PayPal and Square was being used a lot in combination, especially for clubs that had jumped on finding ways to sell things online early on before Square even existed. A lot of them still use PayPal as a function. Some were using Stripe and Doorbox, and a few were using Venmo, and then other. Really, it all depends on what works for your club and what works for the club's needs. But you also want to make sure that you don't install some sort of payment system that is confusing to people and they just don't use it, because maybe you've got enough members in your club that have no idea what Venmo is, and trying to convert them over to Venmo versus paying a little bit more to use PayPal or Square or Stripe is just not worth the headache for those longtime members. So I see here somebody's asking, do clubs not collect for meals? How do they structure that? Does everyone pay whether they eat or not? All of the above. More and more clubs are not including any meal in the cost. They let the venue cover that. Of those that do structure in their meals, it's all built into that dues system. And then does everyone pay whether they eat or not? Again, a lot of that depends on the club. I've seen clubs that all meals are built into the dues, and those dues are available to pay online as a lump sum in either a yearly, quarterly, monthly, as we talked about. I've seen others where the meeting is just a line item on a Square, and when you walk up to the table, the person hits meeting and they hit donations to Happy Bucks, and there you are, you owe us $17, and they swipe your card. So it can be done in many different ways. And then can Square be embedded in a club website for online payments? If not, what does this cost for clubs? Or what does this do this for clubs? You can do that with PayPal. You can do that with Square. I believe you can do it with Stripe. With Square, you have the ability to actually create not only linkable product items, but you can create a website for your club so that members can log in. So especially when you're doing online meetings, you can just put that one link to the club payment website, and if somebody wants to pay part of their dues, they can. If somebody wants to make a Happy Bucks donation, they can right there from that website without leaving the Zoom meeting. So percentage of discount you pay, and my guess is this is payment fees. And so some pay none, about 10%. Most pay less or equal to 3%. Some between 3 and 4, and then some said other. That 3 to 4% is typically where I see the cost going, and it typically evens out. So if you're charged a certain transaction up to a certain amount, and then it bounces over to a set fee or something like that, depending on the service you're using. If you look that out over a month or 6 months, it balances out to between 3 and 4%, depending on the service that you're using. So how do you handle the discounted amount? The majority of clubs, almost 70% surveyed from your group, said they absorb it. Some increase the amount, and other, I don't know what that other was. I have found both. I have found that some clubs increase the amount and others absorb it. Most clubs are already charging some sort of administrative fee if they're charging a full yearly dues. And so absorbing that 3% or 4% into the transaction typically comes out of that fee that they're already charging, especially now when we're mostly meeting online. A lot of those clubs aren't expending the expenses that those original fees were meant for, and so making it easier to process payments online, you've got funds that are just sitting there to do that. And it makes people an awful lot happier when you say the meeting is $15, and when you pay that $15, it doesn't come out to $15 plus tax plus admin fees, because those tax and admin fees kind of turn people off. But you really can do it either way. I wanted to show this example. Online payment is convenient. It's simple to set up pages. And we had that question, and here's an example of one club's, they're a 100-year-old club, so even old clubs do online payments, not just the new whippersnappers. And they do a multi-level of dues, if you see. They also have corporate and honorary members. They actually charge their honorary members, and if you notice, they do charge the additional fees. So that $25 becomes $26.06 if you pay online. You can keep your items separate for each event or regular meeting. You can get clear reports of what you're paying for. Like I said before, you always have a backup device when you're taking payments through one of these online services. And it's way easier during COVID times right now to take digital payments versus trying to track down cash and checks. And I even found one of your clubs in your district, the Rotary Club of Eugene. If you look at the little red circle up there, they give the ability to pay dues online. So I was encouraged to see that. I didn't go through every single one of the clubs, but when I put in online membership dues, this image from their club actually popped up. So it was nice to see that one of the clubs in District 5110 is known for paying their dues online. So financial assistance for members. It's the last topic that I was asked to cover. Let's talk a little bit about it. I've seen two different styles. First is this idea that you waive the first year to minimize the entry-level costs. So in this example, they don't assess club dues during the first year, which saves about $89. All they do is charge the meal purchases because this club has meal purchases. This is the Waukesha Sunrise Rotary Club's example. Then in the second year, they start adding that extra $89 a year. The other I've seen is scholarships for members. I don't have any examples because most clubs are being very hush about this, largely because they want it to be a discrete application process. They don't want Rotarians to feel bad or for everyone to know that someone is on scholarship for the membership. But in smaller clubs, these scholarships have been funded by senior members through personal donations. In larger clubs, they just take part of that operating cash that they probably had sitting around for a while and find ways to retain members. In a lot of areas, people are still struggling with COVID-19. They've been hit hard. Their businesses are partially shut down or completely shut down. They've lost their job. Our unemployment levels are still extremely high across the country. So many of our members want to serve, and we shouldn't have financial hardships be a reason why they can't continue to be Rotary members. So now I am open for questions.
Wow, is anybody else's head about ready to explode? Mine is. Corey, if you want to turn off your screen share,
I'll stop
the
sharing.
last slide, then we can all see each other a little bit better. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Looks like Thomas Bennett has his hand up.
And you can call me Tom.
Okay.
Thank you. Corey, have you any knowledge of a situation where under the corporate or even the family membership, there are, say, a couple of honorary or something akin to an honorary members, but the honorary member wants to participate in activities. And if those activities are covered by Rotary insurance, do we have any sort of a complication there that you're aware of?
Well, here's the deal with activities for Rotary insurance. If you put on a fundraiser, Rotary's insurance is a liability insurance, and it technically only covers your attendees. It does not cover your club members. So whether they're paying club members or honorary club members, they are not covered under Rotary's insurance if something happens to them at a Rotary event. So for clubs that are concerned about members and honorary members and how they're insured for things like that, either you're going to have an issue under the venue, or a lot of clubs take on additional insurance, especially Canadian clubs, because they just want to be protected in-house. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Mimi has her hand up.
Yes, Mimi.
Thank you. So I heard you mention about the administration fee. Is that a one-time fee typically, or is that added on an annual basis?
So typically clubs charge a one-time admin fee, and they explain that as a cost to set up all of the information in your club runner or your DACDB, as well as the cost of pins and paperwork and all the things that a new member gets. Some clubs don't charge that. Some clubs, larger clubs, have an admin fee they charge on a yearly basis because they pay an employee. I know fewer clubs are doing that, but some of the clubs, especially clubs that are like 200 or 300 members, everybody pays in to cover that cost of that employee.
I know our club has online dues payments, although we are not, you don't get us when you search for it. So that's a concern. I want to fix that. But we also have online Happy Buck payments. And I get the emails when people make Happy Buck payments online. And so during our meetings on Thursday noon, I'll start getting all these emails. Susie Q paid her $5 plus 50 cents, or so-and-so paid $10 Happy Bucks. And all the fines start coming in right then and there, right during the meeting. People can go over to our website without skipping a beat, pay their bill, and it's done. And we get the money already. So that's very, very cool. Encourage you to try that. Yeah. Other questions? I didn't mean to pop in and.
Beth has a question in the chat about any clubs that might be doing scholarships and if there's a form. I don't know if anybody here has examples. I know I wasn't able to find any. Julie Aubrey is looking for me, and she didn't get any to me before today, but she may have some that she knows of by next month if you ask her when she's speaking next month. I know our club has done scholarships, but we've never had a formalized form because, again, with confidentiality and everything else, we're trying to keep it a little bit more on the down low. So if anybody has an answer in the group, but I would definitely ask Julie when she's on next month if she's tracked down any of those forms.
I'm going to give you one here in just a second. And I will send it out with the, we just developed this, so we're test driving it, but we have one of them come back. Where's my share screen? Right here. Okay. Sure. Okay, can you see this right here? This is a confidential request for dues reduction. So once somebody sends it, fills it out, we offer it to past due members. So far, that's the way we've handled it. We just designed this. But the member fills in their name. It's a fillable form. We ask them, you know, what they can afford, if they can afford this much or that month as a monthly payment, reason for request, whatever. We try to make it real simple. And then we also ask the projects and committees that they are on, because our philosophy is that we give more weight to members asking for help that are actually engaged and serving on committees and or projects. So I will include that with the forum video and the forum slideshow of Corey's when I send that out. And it's just something we started trying because of COVID. So, you know, take it, riff on it, embellish it, make it yours. It might help.
Thank you. Looks like Marv has a question.
Well, it's not really a question, but thank you. What we do for scholarships, it goes to the board. So if someone needs help, the board will vote on basically eliminating the dues. Our civic membership, which the club pays 100% as well, that also goes in the board. Nothing is kind of written down. We don't want to embarrass anybody. Although our club bills at quarterly, which includes pretty much everything for that, basically for the year, what we've done is on the second quarter, we eliminated all dues for the second quarter. And we said anyone that wanted to pay the dues can, but it'll go into a special account to help other members pay the dues for the third or fourth quarter whenever it comes up. And we had well over $1,000 in that account just to help people that couldn't do it. And if anyone is interested in doing that, all they do is call the treasurer. Nobody else knows, and the treasurer has the capability of reducing or help compensating that individual. For the third quarter, we paid the entire full dues of $175. And we indicated that, yes, we're not, and this includes lunches, by the way. We indicated that if there were no lunches or gatherings for the third quarter, things would be credited back to them on the statement for the fourth quarter. Our fourth quarter dues and also our first quarter of this year dues went down to $65 for the quarter itself. Our $1,000 plus fund is down to about $500 right now. So people know that they can ask for help, and seems to work out pretty good for us. But that money pays for everything other than additional donations to the Rotary Foundation. So it pays for our administration, it pays for fees from Square, it pays for our year-end party, our Christmas party, which is all catered. So there are no dues. Our happy hours that we have 4 a year, where we go to a local pub for pizza and a liquid, whatever they want. Club picks all that up, and there's no additional charges, and they can bring guests and family members and kids and stuff like that. So it seems to work for our club doing it that way.
Thank you. Other questions, comments, answers? Sorry, if you have one, just say something, because I can't flip through the screens fast enough.
Well, I'd just like to say as governor that I'm so excited to see 22 presidents, president-elects, club members, administrators, assistant governors here today trying to make your clubs work better for these times. Yesterday, we got the opportunity to talk with RI President Holger Knack, with Vice President Jarita, and he reiterated that, you know, at International Assembly, I said to you, this is a quote, I said to you that we need to change to be relevant. And sometimes, he quoted Paul Harris, we need to be revolutionary. So anyway, Christine and Corey, thank you so much for this great presentation. I've gotten some nuggets out of this, and I'm sure everybody else has too. So thank you so much for everybody attending and thinking about change to benefit and support our clubs. Thanks.
Cindy, we've got a great, Cindy joined us late because she had trouble getting booted in or logged in or however, you know, techie stuff. But it's really nice to see you here, Cindy. We have a good group of people every month. Usually the program's shorter, but I gave Corey this list of things that, oh, we're just going to talk about dues. It's a 3-letter word. How tough can it be? But we all that are struggling with it in our clubs know how tough it can be. How do you structure them, and how do you collect them? And what about this online stuff? And then our members are suffering. These are things that have been necessary all along, and COVID's just sort of kicked us in a place where we need to move on it. And I think in that respect, it's good. I love the introductory sale idea. Did you guys like that? I mean, that is so cool. It's just like, take it from marketing 101, you know, let's get people in. How many of you take dues monthly? Let people pay monthly? I'm not seeing a lot of hands. Our treasurer really fought the idea oh my gosh, it's going to be all this extra work for Quicken. But I find that, you know, a lot of people think of their budget in monthly terms. They don't think in quarterly or every 6-month terms. So if you can find a way to let people pay monthly, it's going to be easier for the member. And what does that mean? It's customer service. You got to make it easy for the customer to pay you. So that's something that I really encourage you to think about, that and the introductory thing. We charge $100 introductory fee, and I've waived it for young professionals before. It's easy. Mimi's got another question. Unmute.
Thank you. My question is, in our club, we get invoiced quarterly, but since it's the same amount every quarter, I just have it automatic pay set up with my bank account. How do you, if people pay through Square anyway, online, do they still get invoiced for it? How are they reminded that it's time again? Or can they do it automatic pay with Square, that it automatically withdraws it from their account?
I think,
I think Marv might have an answer, but they can be invoiced via Square or any of the other systems. They can also be invoiced via Club Runner or DACDB in that way. And then you just include the payment link. So it can be either way. We definitely, in our club, we have members who need that paper billing, and so we send them the Square invoice so they can get it paid for by their work. Whereas we have a lot of others that just want to swipe their credit card and be done with it, and they don't want to have paper involved. So, but
yeah.
Marv has a thought up there.
What we do is we have everybody's, not everybody, 92% of the club have their credit cards on Square. Corey mentioned that you can do that. So in QuickBooks, what I do is I will send out invoices the second week of the first quarter, like last week I did that. And then they have 24 hours to notify me if there's any issues, like if they need help or something like that. If they don't contact me the next day, I run everything through Square, because on Square, what happens is that you have everybody's credit card on file. It's encrypted, so all you have is the last 4 digits. And I just go right down the roster. And so like 47 people, 46 people, all paid at one time, and the money's in the bank the next day.
Wow. I see Curtis has got a quick comment.
Thanks, Christine. Eugene Delta Rotary. We use that confidential payment form that you shared with me, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
We have a brand new member on multiple committees, very engaged, and he's a personal trainer, works at a golf course, and his business has been devastated. So we as a board are going to have our meeting tomorrow, and we need to find a way to have a very soft touch and flexibility, scholarships on dues, especially for new, younger members that have been affected by the, COVID-19. So we're taking that into account and thinking outside the box.
That's awesome. I brought the question of how to fund help for dues up to, because it's not a budget item for us, and I brought it up to the past presidents when I was meeting with them recently, and one of them stepped up and said, well, maybe some of us past presidents just need to chip in some money, and that's what's happened. And so, people are willing to help. The people, as long as we have a structure, and that's what that form helped us give us, that structure. And that form is confidential. It goes to me, and then it's confidential. So that makes it easy for them. Are there other questions and comments? I've got about time for one more, and then I'm going to wrap up.
Tom's had his hand up for a while down there.
Oh, okay, thanks. Unmute yourself, Tom.
Curtis, had you thought about being even more discreet than a board decision, which is certainly an okay idea, but could there be a budgeted amount that maybe the president would have of the club would have discretion to utilize, and then in order to, again, to try to be as just as discreet as possible? Had you thought about that?
Yeah, all of these have been just with the president making that decision and reaching out to the member. The board tomorrow is going to discuss this more on like on a broad view, like what we're discussing now, that we need to have that empathy. So this is at the highest level. Christine's form has been a great avenue to have that soft touch, followed by a personal phone call, and just working with the member. And no one needs to know. And actually, the board members will not know. It's just at the president level.
Thank you.
Good job. You know, this meeting went way too fast. This hour is just like, whoosh, gone. Next month, we are going on the third Tuesday, I'm sorry. Or anyway, never mind why I'm insane. Our meeting's going to be about virtual recruiting, which was the, second level. People really wanted to talk about that this month, but dues won out on the chat from last month. But looking farther ahead than the virtual recruiting that we're going to talk about next month, if you would use your chat box right now and give me ideas of what you would like to see for future membership programs, focus areas. It could be reruns of what we've done before, which include engaging meetings, fun socials, hybrid meetings, and connections through virtual distance. It can be anything about membership, dues, virtual recruiting, or any other thing that you want to see. Put it in the chat. I'm going to save the chat, and this will help us design future forums, because I'm not out of focus topics yet, but I need your input so that I put them in the right order of what you want to know about. Okay? So I'm waiting for the chats to come through. If you guys are all stumped, then I'll make stuff up. You know I'm not out of ideas. But Corey, I got to thank you so much. Do you have any last words of wisdom for us?
Well, I did put one thing in the chat. I have seen some clubs that have benefactors who commit to paying dues for struggling members so that there does not have to be a board vote. So that is something to keep in mind. The other thing is that, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to make it clear to the members why they're being charged, what they're charged, and whatever dues process you come up with, that it's very clear, because members, especially younger members, but those members that are struggling, they want to see that they're getting value out of the money that they're spending. And if you don't make it clear what the value is they are getting, they'll find other places to spend that money. So.
Good job. Well, we've got some good topics coming up. Keeping connected with invisible members who don't attend Zooms, being able to talk about our value proposition, encouraging Rotaract members to blend in with our clubs, connecting members with potential committees, all great ideas to add to the fodder of the things we've done. Great program. Oh, that's just somebody saying nice things, which I appreciate too. Thank you. I will be saving the chat so that I can review all of the ideas that you've brought in, or any of the other feedback that you've given me, and forward that along as well. So tomorrow you're going to get the video from today. You're going to get the slideshow that Corey's going to send me. I'll send you that form that I just flashed on the screen, and anything else anybody wants to share, if you forward it to me today, then I'll include it in what I share out to all the presidents, president-elects, and membership chairs. With that, it's 11 o'clock, you guys. Time flies when you're having fun, and I always have fun when I see you. So thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Chris and Corey. Thank you.
I'm saving
Thanks,
that.
Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Yep, you bet.